Hello everyone, my name is David Allen Gay and thank you very much for watching the latest GoFundMe initiative update dated July 1st, 2016. Today is Canada Day here in, of course, Canada, and for those of you who are not familiar with this particular holiday, it's kind of like the 4th of July holiday in America. It is our country's birthday. We are 149 years strong. And we have come a long way as a nation. Canada has a lot to be proud of. I mean, we are a country that has a great deal of wealth, with so few people, about 36, 38 million people strong, if my knowledge of the population is correct. We live in a very pluralistic, culturally diverse, multi-faith society where everybody gets along, everybody is willing to help each other and reach across boundaries, normally bordered by culture and religion, and yet we're able to get along, we're able to work together in the workplace and in our free time. We have the freedom to express ourselves without persecution or punishment. We have the right to express ourselves through art, through our sexual orientation. We have a right to do all of these things through the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms without persecution. I mean, as a Canadian citizen, I have a right to express my opinion about corporate Canada, employment assistance centers, the economy, the government, all three levels of government without having to worry about being carted off to jail. If I were to produce videos like what I've been producing on this channel, or write about how the government or how corporate Canada is not doing their part in helping the unemployed and the homeless return to financial self-reliance and self-sustainability in, say, China or North Korea, I would disappear in a matter of days, locked away in a gulag or a jail for all time for expressing my opinion. And while my detractors would cheer and rejoice about that, yay, David is gone, I certainly would have a big concern about disappearing. So I am very grateful that I have the right to express my opinion. And you can agree with me, you can disagree with me, you can call me names. It's pretty much all the same. But when it comes down to it, I can express my viewpoints without persecution and punishment, and I think that's wonderful. I think that's fantastic that I live in a country as open, as free, and as accessible as Canada is. Now, I said all of this because, despite all of this, despite 149 years, we have made a lot of progress. There's still a lot of things that need to be done. We are not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, and I'd like to bring to your attention, as a person living below the poverty line, what those concerns are, what Canada really needs to start reaching out and accomplishing in the years to come. And one of the things that I'm really concerned about is the distribution of wealth. I mean, I mentioned before that Canada is a very wealthy country, and it is. We have a lot of lumber, we have a lot of oil, we have a lot of uranium. Those are commodities that would make any nation a virtual utopia, especially with the small population that we have for such a very large landmass. I mean, Canada is one of the largest land masses on the world, and it's mostly unpopulated. Yet, to my astonishment, we have people living out in the streets. We have people not getting proper treatment in the mental institutions. I just came back from Bridgeport Plaza at the corner of Weber and Bridgeport, Lincoln actually, Weber and Lincoln up in Waterloo region. And there's this guy walking around. He was clearly mentally disturbed. He's pounding on a plastic paint container like it's a drum. Matter of fact, some of you people who live in the Waterloo region might know who I'm talking about. There's even videos on him on YouTube called the Kitchener Drummer Boy. And he's screaming and he's screeching and he's menacingly marching toward Figaro's Pizza Place and KW Coffee Cups across the street from where I am waiting for my bus. And I'm looking at this guy and I'm going, we're so wealthy, we're so rich. Why, despite this country's wealth, why is this guy walking around? I mean, I can't believe for a minute it's an issue where he doesn't want help. I'm sure he wants help. And even if he doesn't want help, why are we not doing our best to make sure that he gets that sort of help? Why are we not, doing something that that prevents him from hurting himself or hurting other people. So, we have this very wealthy country, yet we have people who are homeless. We have people who are working 2 or 3 jobs. We have people who are, who can't afford to financially self-sustain themselves, such as like myself. I mean, how is this possible? Are we a nation of lazy people, or are we a nation are in danger of leaving a segment of our population behind? And I think it's the latter. I think this is the situation that we have. We lack leadership. And part of the problem, as I said before, corporate Canada is not stepping up to the plate. They are making everybody dance to that really hit-grooving song, we must do more, downsize, you all have to do it, or else you are out the door and you join the unemployed folk like me. You're being asked to work more hours and sacrifice your personal free time, all in the name of a buck that you're not getting thanked for. And when it comes time to downsize again, your turn may be up. Do it where you're unemployed, and you're not going to get a thank you for all those sacrifices that you made for missing your children's recital or birthday parties, or those family vacations that are become timeless, and they act as the glue of heritage that hold families together. Those sacrifices will not be recognized, and yet corporate Canada is doing its utmost to destroy the family and to keep people like myself from finding a job. I mean, because all for what? The bottom line, to treat the human condition as a commodity like toilet paper and coffee cups that they have to meter and marshal in order to keep within their general ledger requirements and their statement of finance for the next audit. I think that's disgraceful. I mean, we have all this wealth. There's plenty of room to share. We have to stop being greedy. We also have to start creating more full-time entry-level positions for people like myself. Stop this talk of credential creep, like asking people to play a guitar in order to work at a music store's warehouse. I mean, I've got proof of that on my blog at davidallengay.wordpress.com. It's there. It was on an actual forum, and I've seen very extreme forms of credential creep that make even getting entry-level jobs an absolute challenge. We have to stop treating the homeless people as though they're monsters and they're a blind society. They're not a disease. They're a symptom. I mean, they're the people who are suffering the most because we are living in an age of austerity, and we're living in a jobless recovery that produces very anemic economic growth, part-time work, where multiple generations of people, young people and old people such as myself, we're fighting over the same entry-level job, where in fact, in my case, I shouldn't even have to worry about this sort of thing. My career was in IT for 20 years. Why am I not looking for IT work? Because there is no IT work here in Canada. It's all been outsourced to companies like TCS and Tata in India, or outsourced to farming companies such as Q9 Networks in Canada and the States. That's the reason why there's not that many IT jobs. So I have to do these Kijiji and Craigslist jobs to make ends meet. I have to do blog work, piecemeal blog work, which I'm grateful for, but it's not a solution for me. There's no excuse, that I can't find work. There's no excuse why many people like me can't find work. We are a country that has a potential that is unimaginable, but we have to have the dream and the initiative and the drive to realize it. We have to get people back to work. Every single one of us, men and women, we all have to work. We all have to earn an income to afford the basic essentials in this capitalistic society. We all have to generate a tax revenue to pay for the social services that our social safety net is composed of. Roads, schools, hospitals, electrical system, sanitation system, all these things do not come free. They come from your tax dollars. And people who are not working, people who are homeless, people who face discrimination, people who face mental disorders, who are being held back, who are being put on the sidelines and not receiving help, while people argue over ideology on the problem, these people are not contributing. These people should be contributing through gainful, strong, meaningful, psyche-building employment. Yet we're not doing this. And Canada is still falling through the cracks on that one. Canada still has an awful lot to do. The issue of ageism is a big one for me, because I'm 52 years old, and I want to point out before I continue with this next statement, I don't always look like this whenever I go to a job interview. I don't wear a sweatshirt, and I don't have my hair all over the place, my beard all over the place. Before I go to an interview, I get a proper trim, I get my hair cut, I wear a three-piece suit, right down to the tie and the tie pin. I look like I'm ready to take on the corporate world all by myself. I mean, I look that sharp. I mean, you might see my picture on my LinkedIn profile, where I look in a three-piece suit. I mean, there's a video on YouTube advertising my employment initiative. It's a few years old, but it's not that much different from how I look now. And I'm wearing a three-piece suit. My beard is cut. My hair looks great. I look like I'm the type of guy that you can trust with your hundreds of thousands of dollars IT technology. And I was for over 20 years. I was the guy that worked at a company that took care of SAP instances, that wrote RPG and CL programs, who was a help desk person, who worked in EDI for a short while. I did all these things, and I was a guy that you can trust, and I am still the guy that you can trust for employment. But the problem is, I go to an interview, and despite how well I look, how clean-shaven I am, how nicely and short my hair is, they see the lines in my face, they see the crow's lines around my eyes, and the gizzard neck, and the puffy face, and the tired eyes, and the heavy lids, and they think, oh, he's old. He's past his prime. He's past his best before date. No one wants to hire him, And I think that's unacceptable. I don't think that is fair any more than it is fair or unfair, to discriminate against a person who has a very ethnic-sounding last name, or has a skin color that's not white like mine. It's wrong. It's wrong to judge people based on age. We are being asked to work past our retirement years, then why aren't you giving us the opportunity to do just that? Why won't you break the barrier of ageism and give people like me a chance for employment? There's no excuse that I can't work. I'm able-bodied, I have all my marbles, yet I am facing, in a country that is very wealthy, has a lot of human capital, a lot of discrimination when it comes to employment. There is no excuse, there's no reason for this, yet that is the reality that Canada is in right now. It has issues. It still has issues, even on its 149th birthday, Canada Day 2016. Definitely take pride in what we've done. Definitely take stock. Take inventory of the accomplishments that make this country one of the greatest countries in the world, if not the greatest country in the world. But do not rest on our laurels. Move forward. Address the issues of the unemployed. Address the issues of the homeless, the mentally challenged, those who cannot afford affordable housing, those who cannot find accessible employment. Here's another one I want to share with you right now, equivalent access to technology. I can't afford a phone. I cannot afford a DSL connection. I cannot afford a smartphone. I cannot afford a lot of things. And as a result, technology is very limited to me when compared to somebody like yourself, who is used to having always on internet access at high speed. And you're probably carrying around one, if not two cell phones right now. One for your work and one for your personal initiative. All of these things you have, I don't have right now. This is kind of the disparity that I'm talking about right now. I am relying on coffee shops. I am relying on public libraries. Big shout out to Waterloo Region Public Library System and the Kitchener Public Library System for being my mainstay for my job search in the mornings, my blog work, and my KGJ and Craigslist work in the afternoon. And then when I go away and I come back again after dinner, I go back to the library to do some Facebook stuff and maybe play some very harmless free games to let myself forget what type of situation I'm in right now. Thank you very much for being that very powerful mainstay for me, being in my corner. I even had the opportunity at the Kitchener Public Library to fix a Ubuntu Linux computer that failed. They had books there that I could use to fix the problem, books that I cannot afford, that I was able to use and get my computer up and running. And I made sure that Kitchener Public Library got a thank you from me for having those books there. I showed them the work that I was working on. Excuse me. on my Twitter feed showing how I got the computer up and running using one of their books. So Kitchener Public Library is quite literally a third arm for me. I mean, without them, I would not be able to do a job search in the morning. I would not be able to do Kijiji and Craigslist gig setups in the afternoon, blog work in the afternoon. They are an incredibly important resource that I will always treasure and be very appreciative of. So, but pardon me for going off tangent like that. It was definitely necessary for me to thank these libraries for their support. But getting back to what I was talking about before, there is a slogan by the Salvation Army that goes something like this: we can make better things, but we can't make things better. I mean, and they're absolutely right. We can make faster computers, we can make faster phone lines, smaller smartphones that are more powerful than the original UNIVAC and ENIAC computer systems in comparison. Yet, these marvelous tools of technology do not make things better for everybody, especially those who cannot afford them, such as myself. I mean, the laptop that I have right now cost me about $300. It was replaced when I was mugged back in August, when I was out in the streets and homeless. And for some of you people out there who are saying, well, $200, $300 is not really a lot of money, you have to understand the context of what you're saying. You're gainfully employed, you probably have stable employment. $200 and $300 will, of course, not be a lot of money to you. But when you're someone like myself, who is living gig by gig, donation by donation, whatever works, whatever I can do to raise an income, $200, $300 is more like $2,000, $3,000. You know, add an extra zero to whatever you have, and that's what I feel like I'm paying whenever I look at money like a $20 bill or $200 or $2,000. I add an extra zero because that's how it feels to me. You may not be so angry if you lose $20, but for me, that's 4 days worth of food. You know, that's gone, and I get really mad when I lose $20. I mean, it is like losing $200. Technology is not affordable. Technology is not universally available for everybody. It has now become a toy for the upper middle class and the rich. You've never seen a homeless person carry an Apple phone, have you? You've never seen a homeless person have access to Crave or Netflix, do you? No, because homeless people don't have that. Homeless people can barely afford rent and food. That is the reason why I'm living in subsidized housing right now through my family members, because I can't afford by myself the ability to pay the rent myself. That's why this GoFundMe initiative page is up, is to raise awareness to you people out there through YouTube and through other services that I really do need your assistance. So what exactly am I asking for? Again, I've always said this, I've always asked for employment. You know, part-time, full-time would be really nice, but part-time would be good. It would put more money in my pocket. I might even be able to start affording a phone again, so I don't have to use Skype and coffee shops, internet, in order to communicate with people. That would be nice. But if not, well, I've said this thing so many times, I'm not going to repeat the spiel. I mean, you just click the link below, right there in the comments. You go to that link, you read what I'm asking for, and you decide what you donate. You can donate 20 cents, 50 cents, $1 or $2, $5, $20, whatever. I mean, whatever you donate will go toward my job search. It'll go toward ensuring that I am returning back to financial self-reliance and self-sustainability. It will not be squandered. It will not be wasted on meaningless pursuits like vacations. I can't afford them. Or computer games. I can't afford them. You know, it'll go towards stuff that I can afford that is also geared toward my job search. My rent, my food, my transit pass. If this computer breaks, it'll get repaired using that money. It is my job search tool. It is my communication tool with many people in order to get gigs going so I can get paid. This is where your donations or your offers of employment will go toward. It will not be squandered. It will not be wasted. But that's my say for today. Thank you very much for watching this very special edition, Canada Day edition of my GoFundMe initiative update. If you have any questions, the comments below is where you would fill out your questions, your concerns, your comments. I always answer everything, even private DMs and private messages. My Twitter feed is at David_Allen, ALAN_gay on Twitter. As I said before, my blog, davidallengay.wordpress.com, where I do my free blog posting. You might see some of my work, my paid work, on a website called Social Visio and other clients where I do get paid. And I am also very grateful for that sort of employment because that sort of blog work does keep me going. If there are other companies out there who need a blogger, you know where to find me through here. Craigslist and Kijiji is my David Needs a Job ads. I update them every month, and they usually run for 3 months to let people know what I'm looking for. Please understand, I'm not looking for risky investment schemes or running my own business. I simply do not have the capital, and certainly I don't have the space to run my own business. What I am looking for is employment, either an hourly wage or an annual salary. I mean, please, no sales. But that's my say for today. Thank you very much for watching this video, and have yourself a good Canada Day. Bye for now.